working with a senior exec, Jeff, recently, and he always used to use the term executional excellence. Don't you just love that term? It's like we killed something, but we did it really well. Do you engage when someone says, "What's our CVP?" Or do you just respond with WTF or NFI?
Every time we use jargon, every single time we use it, we disconnect and we isolate people.
Imagine if we could replace the language of business with storytelling that actually connects and involves people.
Gabrielle Dolan will share with you why authentic leadership is needed more than ever. She used to be a senior leader at NAB, so she's experienced firsthand the challenges with communicating and leadership. Over the last decade, she's been working with the C-suite of senior execs across Australia, helping them to communicate in a way that is more authentic and truly connects people.
I don't know if it's nostalgia, but the 80s were good times, weren't they? I mean, we were walking like an Egyptian, we were living on a prayer, and we built this city. We built it on rock and roll. But what happened was the recession hit. We either lost our jobs or we did everything to not lose our jobs. We enrolled en masse in MBAs to make us more employable, where we learn about TOES analysis and SWOT analysis and Porter's 5 forces. Well, thank goodness Microsoft released PowerPoint. PowerPoint replaced the overhead transparency. My favourite was the dissolve from the middle. Remember that? There is no denying that PowerPoint and the access to information has not only changed how we communicate, but what we communicate.
But it's not working and it needs to change. Death by PowerPoint has to stop. Corporate jargon and management speak has to stop. Depersonalising the way we talk has to stop. Folklore has it on one of Kennedy's visits to NASA, he asked a cleaner what he was doing. And the cleaner said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." Imagine if we could talk in a way that the cleaners knew what we were doing. Imagine if we could communicate in a way that was real, that got that amount of traction and engagement.
So I visualise this spectrum, and I call it my get real spectrum. And on one end, we have people that just inform. They're just passing on information. And at the other end, we have people that inspire.
One of the ways we can move along this spectrum to a place of inspire is the way we talk.
We keep asking our people to do more with less, but how do we expect to do that if we don't inspire them?
If we could replace corporate jargon with using stories in business, we would get a lot more connection and engagement and loyalty. So leadership's a tough gig, right? It's a really tough gig. And being real with your leadership is even tougher because it's more than what we say, it's who we are. See, one of the other ways we can move along this spectrum to a place that inspires is be prepared to bring our whole self to our leadership. You know, what are you passionate about? What do you care about? What do you believe in? What are you prepared to take a stand for? And are you prepared to bring that to your leadership? I see too many leaders that believe they need to be bulletproof because they have this position of authority. But that's not being real, and it's certainly not inspiring.
The French have a saying, "Ça vaut le déplacement." And what it means is it worth the trip? They talk about, would you go out of your way for something? What are we doing that customers would go out of their way to work for us? What are we doing that people would go out of their way to buy from us? Real leadership, moving across to a place that's inspiring, takes courage, but I believe it will be worth the trip.
From a place where we are cascading information to connecting, from using jargon to being genuine, from asking, is it safe, to asking, is it right?
And I think the time is now. We have a generation screaming out for us to be real. We all have it in us to communicate in a way that truly connects.